Okay, so you know that I've already done a training on Asana. And the thing that about it is, I think it's a good training, but it's long. So my hope, I'm going to do a series of Asana trainings with you guys and break it down into pieces. So I'm gonna show you how to use Asana in different ways, and how to make it work for your business. We're gonna talk today a little bit about what you could use instead of Asana. But today we're going to focus on using it for LinkedIn. That's it. That's the whole purpose of this call, is using Asana for LinkedIn. We will talk about some other ways that you can use Asana. Is somebody talking here? Let's see. Okay, we'll talk about other ways to use Asana, like down the line, because, you know, I'm a fan of using it for a lot of different ways. But today is only about LinkedIn. And hopefully from this training, you will be able to see how you can use it for a lot of other things. Because once we kind of go over this, you should be like, I could use this for Instagram. I could use this for whatever other processes you have. So before we get started, who can explain or would like to explain who uses Asana and what is it for? Anybody want to take a guess? Anybody use it? Anne uses it. I'm about to share all the things that Anne does on it. Literally. Anyway, does anybody use it?
I use it, Jamie. I use it.
You? Okay. What do you use it for? Do you use it for your team?
We do. We use
Okay.
it. We use it for the well, not just my marketing team, but we use it for cross-functioning teams as well.
Okay. Okay.
So that helps as well, so that everyone kind of knows. So when no one's living in silos.
Yes.
But when you need to live in a silo, it's good that you have Asana. But excited to see how you're using it, Jackie.
Yeah. I mean, we use it probably for a lot of similar ways. Did I interrupt somebody? Did somebody?
I just said I use it for content, and my VA puts things on there when she has for me, like on my whatever I need. She creates things in Canva Pro, so I don't have to have it, and she pushes all that stuff in Asana for me. I just look there.
Yeah, and that's another good way to use it. And we can do a training on that down the line. So overall, what it says on your worksheet and what Asana is Asana is a project management tool. And right off the bat, a lot of you are going to be thinking, I barely started in my business. I don't need a project management tool. Wrong. That's exactly when you need a project management tool. You don't want to get started with it down the line when you get really huge, or when things spiral out of control, which when things spiral out of control, it usually happens pretty quickly. Like, you get momentum and things start, like, you're doing all these things start going crazy, and then it's out of control. So the idea with a project management tool is to create repeatable processes. So like the processes the tasks that you do every day in your business, and put them into a tool so that you can kind of check them off every day. Think of it like a glorified checklist, and organize your business a little bit. And if you're thinking about future, which I hope all of you are, what this is going to do is set your business up for success in the future. Because if you start putting all the tasks that you do on a daily basis into a project management tool, how much easier is that going to be to hand over to a person that you hire? Right? Other than when you hire the person and then you're like, okay, now I need to make a list of everything that I do and try to figure out what you want to give to them. This makes the handoff of those tasks very easy, very streamlined. And what I'm going to show you today, which is the process that we use for LinkedIn and Asana, is something that you could very easily hand over to a VA. And you probably should hand over some of these things over to a VA as you scale. Maybe not all of them. Not everybody is about having their VA comment for them and all of those types of things. But these are things that you could hand over. And I was listening to a Chris Harder podcast this morning with Cameron Harold, and he was talking about how if you don't have an executive assistant, you are an executive assistant. And he was talking about how delegation is basically the only way that you can scale in your business, and it is. And I think we've talked about this in other networking sessions and things that I've done, but you can start with a virtual assistant or a team member in a very limited capacity. I think we're all like in this business/corporate mindset where like we need to hire someone and like they need to be hired for like either like 20 hours a week or something like that. That's not how virtual assistants usually roll nowadays. It doesn't really happen like that. You can hire them for a couple of hours a week, and they're usually pretty good with that because they want to keep a roster of clients. They don't want to work for you full time, and which is a good thing because we don't want to pay them for full time, right? So I just want you guys to take this as forward thinking. Like, what could I hire out in the future? How could I make the things that I do in my business systematized, the tasks that I do every day, so that I can make handover really easy to someone? Does that make sense? It's just really important, and you do it before you think you need to do it. Because I will tell you, and this is just total transparency, we didn't in Burnout to All Out. We did not. We didn't have all of this stuff all laid out for you. I came into the business after the fact, and we were just rolling and rolling. And so what that resulted in is not this past December, but the December before, Melissa and I literally spent the entire month of December in Asana. We were on 4-hour calls, planning everything out, doling everything out, figuring out whose responsibilities was what. It was a disaster. Like it was horrible. It was deeply stressful for both of us. And we talk about it and we're like, we're never doing that again. Yeah, like we're never doing that again. And so that's why I'm telling you guys this. I don't want you to ever have to go through that. And it may not be to that scale, but I can tell you that having to break down projects in any capacity after the fact, when you have to do a lot of it, it sucks. Like it's not easy. And the more that you can like kind of really write down the things that you're doing on a daily basis and really get them onto paper or into a digital platform like Asana, you're not going to miss steps when you hand things over to people. Because when we're doing things in a hurry and we're trying to hand things over, you don't think of everything. You just don't, because it lives here. So the idea is to start getting those things out in a capacity where you can easily hand it off to someone. And one of the best things about Asana, and I'm going to show you guys all of this, is you're able to assign it to other people. So you can assign it. So let's say that Pam Carey is my virtual assistant, and I assign her a task. And Pam
My
doesn't.
ship has come in that I can really be in your stratosphere, Jackie. Just kidding.
But let's say that Pam doesn't do the task, right? I'll know that she didn't complete it. So that's awesome. And this is like the whole thing, like, Anne, I will say, I've created all of Anne's tasks. I know every time Anne completes them because I get a notification in my inbox. What does that reduce? Friction. You don't have to have the back and forth of talking to someone. Hey, did you get this done? Hey, did you do this? Hey, did you do this? They don't like that. You don't like that, right? So it's one of those things that can just save you in a heck of a lot of ways in your business. As checking in with people is probably one of the biggest time wasters, I would say, in business. It sucks. And it's something that it wastes way more time than you can imagine. Like waiting on an email, sending communications. It's just a total waste of time. Otherwise, you just know, right? Okay. So I know we have some other people on this call today that don't use Asana. I'm looking. Kristen, are you here? Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you use, Kristen?
I use Trello, and then I've heard good things about Monday.
Okay. So I did on your worksheet, I have a list of other tools that you could use in like, say you don't like Asana for some reason, and that's totally fine. Like I put down here, what I really want you to do is with any other tool in your business, it's important to find one that you will use. I personally don't care which one of these you use. I just really would like to see you guys use one of them. because it's important to organize your business. And if Asana doesn't work for you, maybe you don't like the interface, maybe it's something, maybe whatever, maybe you don't like it. That's fine. There's plenty of other things that you can use. I like Asana because it's free for the most part. You can go like with the free version a really long way. To me, Trello, I felt like I was always that I needed to upgrade for the things that I wanted. And some of the features just weren't what I wanted. I'm not always a fan of the board view, like the tile view. And a lot of people love that. I'm not always a fan of that. So that was another reason that I didn't like Trello. Monday, I've heard great things about. I've never used it, but Monday, I've heard though can get pricey. Any of these project management tools, I want to warn you, here's how the pricing works. They price by seat. So if you can imagine how expensive this gets as you grow. So we just had to upgrade Melissa's finally, her Asana, after years of not having it upgraded. And the price tag per month is about $600 a month.
What is a seat?
A seat is a place for a team member. So the more people the more people that you add. So if you added a virtual assistant, there's a lot of reasons you can add people to your project management software. We have people that come in and work with us on projects, photographers, things like that. It just can get pricey if you add a bunch of seats. So I like using a free version for as long as possible. And with Asana, if you don't upgrade, if you can work around it, you can go with the free version for a long time, a very long time. We did for years with Melissa. Yes, Giselle, do you have a question?
Yeah, quick question. I'm currently using Trello and I'm trying to move out of Trello. We use Google Sheets, but I'm starting to use Planner.
Okay.
Teams, would that fall into this category?
Sure. Anything that you can keep track of your tasks in and be able to assign it to someone else is what you're looking for.
Okay.
So Airtable is another one that I didn't put on here, but Airtable is another possibility for you to use. Really, as with anything, I would like you to test these out. Like get into Trello, get into it like any of these. And here's what I'm going to tell you is I've given you the template to the board that we're going to talk about today down here. Let's see where it is. It's all the way down here. And you can download it, and it downloads as a CSV. And here's the awesome thing. You can upload a CSV to almost any of these. So you can use the process. Like if you're using Trello, you can upload a CSV to Trello. I'm sure you can do it to Monday. No, you can do it with ClickUp. Google Sheets is a CSV. Notion, all of these things, you should be able to upload it, whatever I'm talking about today, if you don't want to do it manually. John, yes.
So in terms of all the different types of platforms there are, like types. So I know this type, because I just finally found like a go high level kind of thing. What's that called?
Good.
What's that type of thing called?
So, I mean, what Go High Level is like an all-in-one. There's not another term for it. I just call it an all-in-one because it encompasses like funnel building and email marketing and all of the things. Like, so.
But it's not this. So
but that does not have project management in it.
Got it. So how many different, let's say if I have an all-in-one, and then how many things do I need? Like not which one, but like an all-in-one thing, that has fund building and all that stuff, and then a project management thing. How many other things would you say, and what would you call those things?
So, I mean, there's always going to be little things that you need in your business. So there's always tools that you can add to your business to make it better. Like always, like we just added a tool called Video Ask to our arsenal of tools. If you go to the Academy sales page, you'll see it. Melissa pops up in a little video and is talking to people on the sales page. So there's just always tools that you can add. Do you need them necessarily? No. An all-in-one and a project management tool should be your core things that you need, but there's always little tools that you can add, like always. I mean, I think of this week, and Melissa just sent me a link and she was like, I want you to sign up for this to, you know, make all my calendars work together. So we did. So there's just always things that you need. Your tech stack can get really big, but you've made a good decision by getting an all-in-one to get started, because that's going to eliminate a ton of things right off the bat that you need to have separately. Okay.
Thank you.
Let me look at the chat here and see if I missed anything. Okay. But there is no limit. And Linda, I know that's a question on your mind. There's no limit to the amount of things that you could potentially need in your business. I'm sorry to tell you that. But as you get, you know, as you grow in your business, hopefully you've hired people to help you and can take care of that. You know, I don't think that you should be managing that many tools on your own. Melissa surely wasn't. When we first started, she had a couple of things. I've honestly, I guess I'm the bad guy, but I'm the one that brought the majority of them in, right? Like, but they've been in a way to make her business more streamlined and, you know, make things run a little smoother. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about Asana. So if you sign into Asana, this is basically what you're going to see. You probably won't see these things. You'll probably see a project that you've created by yourself. Has anyone logged in and already done this? I know Pam has. Okay. When you first start and you first sign in, just go with the flow. Don't worry about what you're creating too much. Okay. Like if they prompt you to make your own project, go ahead and do it, but just don't worry about it. You want to get to the screen where you can add more things. Because if they make you create a project, which I'm going to talk about projects in just a second, know that you can come up here and you can delete the whole thing. So, you know, you don't need it. If you create something, you can get rid of it. Okay. So inside of Asana, we create things called projects. Projects are like a little shell that we have tasks in. So if we're thinking about the different projects that you could create for your business, one of them could be like this one here, LinkedIn tasks, right? One of them could be your podcast. One of them could be, maybe you have, for Burnout to All Out, all of our team members have their own project and they have all of their tasks within that own project. Does that make sense? Does anybody have questions about this? It's basically how you organize things within the platform. I know in Trello, they have boards. So there are different boards inside of Trello. It's like your board would be your LinkedIn task. One board would be your business hub, things like that. Does that make sense? And I'm going to tell you very much so, when you're first starting with any type of project management tool, do not go create like 10 projects. You're not going to be able to keep up with that. I'm just going to tell you that. Like, you're not going to log in every day and go check off tasks and 10. Don't do that. Like, there's the thing is trying to go a little too overboard with this. Like, we're trying to make your life simpler. Don't go in there and like make 1,000 projects and create all kinds of tasks for yourself. Like, don't do that. Like, let's start small and then add up. But when I was talking about creating different tasks for the different things that you do throughout your day, it would be a good idea to start creating a project for each like category of those tasks. Does that make sense? So if you work on your podcast every so often, that could be a project and you add the different tasks that you do in there. Does anybody have any questions so far? I see a lot of stuff in the chat. Do I have any questions, Anne? Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
About how to contain the number of projects. It's just so easy to divvy up everything that you're doing to keep it organized into the smallest level, right?
Well, you have to get used to using a project management tool to start. And I think that's the thing. Like, sure, you could go in here and add every task that you ever do, every project that you ever do. But using a project management tool is going to be something that you have to get used to. So if you put maybe your LinkedIn tasks in here to get started. And then you can, maybe you give that a couple of weeks and you're on a good pace with it and you're crossing things off every day. Then I would start adding more. And then you can continue to add more. I've been in businesses where they have like 25, 30 projects, things like things going on simultaneously. You know, I think to me, it's more important that you get started with something and that you use it consistently. Because after I show you how to use everything inside of here, you're probably going to think, I don't want to have 10 projects in here right now. I need to get used to using this as it is.
So for the things that aren't in the first kind of, I don't know, beta test for yourself, like LinkedIn, I mean, I use Todoist, you know, which is like the ultimate list of, you know, this, and it just keeps it all flowing and organized. That's different than this.
It is, because you can, I don't believe you can assign things to on Todoist, and that's the kicker. So I mean, I've seen people use Asana in the same way that they use Todoist. So like Melissa has a household board that she has all of her household tasks and things on for, like, and I would say she uses it most during the holidays to keep herself organized. But those are options. Those are things that you can add on here. Now, here's the thing, with the free version of Asana, anybody can see into any of these projects. So if you have, like, let's say you add your virtual assistant and you have a personal one, think about that, right? We might want to go in and create an entirely different Asana space for your personal one so that you're not, you know, sharing everything with everybody, unless you don't care, unless it's fine. So I know most virtual assistants probably wouldn't care to look at stuff like that, but I guess it's just a comfort level thing. I'm personally, if you look here, I'm in all kinds of Asana workspaces. So these are all the different ones that I have been added to or I am involved in. So it is possible to have multiple of these things. This is my core business one, which I don't really use anymore because I started a different business. So. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
I mean, it seems to make sense to just set up an Asana, like you said, because if you do it now, then suddenly when there's a lot of people coming and going, you know, to shift over from whatever the other like Todoist type thing would be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I really believe firmly in getting started with this now. I'm so glad I did when I first got started. Now, when I go into other businesses, I can even see this for you in a way, like when you are organizing your projects with different clients and things like that, like having different client boards. And there's a way even to add clients into those boards and things like that so that they can get access to stuff like that. We do that in our agency. So it can be a very good tool, and just getting into it and getting the hang of it is going to be huge for you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, Pam.
And then Jackie, so let's say that you want to have more of your personal Asana board and then your business board, and then maybe you have ones that you work on with different clients. If it's all attached to your email, are you able to, do you have to have a different email for each one of those?
So if you come here and you click on this, we'll go over this more in another training, but I'll tell you this right here. If you click on your picture and go to more, you can click create. It should say either create new team or create new workspace. And so that workspace is entirely different than this one.
Got it. And then you can
So that would
choose
create one of these things that you see here.
Okay, so if you
and
could
then you
want,
can
like, your
add new
family.
people to that, like clients, things like that. You could add, I've seen a lot of copywriters create a new project, a new workspace for each client that they get in. They bring the client in, that way the client can see the work. And if you're a service provider, in a lot of ways it's great, because then the client is not like, where are we at with this? What do we do? What phase are we at with this? Like, I've seen people that fully handle it inside of Asana, where they're delivering things inside of there, keeping the communication in there, which is really nice to keep it out of email and DMs and all the other ways that people contact you. A lot of service providers have that written into their onboarding, like, we communicate in Asana, basically. And so that can really help. If you're a service provider, you know what I'm saying. Like, it can be a pain, the back and forth between clients. So keeping it limited to one mode of conversation and one like communication, it's life-saving. So
And then one really quick, is there a master view that you can have where you can see everything, or do you then have to go into each individual?
you have to switch
You
between
got to
them.
switch. Okay.
Yep. And I think it's a way, like the way that you set up your notifications in Asana is going to just keep you on track. So like if you have things, I have like when tasks are completed, emailed to me, when people comment, it's emailed to me. That way I know to go in and check. And if I don't get those emails, I know that I don't need to go in there and make sure and see if anything's going on.
Okay.
So that's really the best way I would say is if you set up your delivery of communication the right way, you shouldn't even need to switch between to see what's going on. Pam, yes.
I just said two things. I don't have a CRM system set up yet. So as I'm making new
That's
connections.
going to be another training that we're going to do on Asana after we do LinkedIn today. I'm going to do one on how to use Asana as a CRM.
So my VA made a project thing here that says contacts. And so we're starting that. So that could be a project. Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And in network marketing, would I put a project for each one of my team members, each one of my downlines? And do I track in there with them? Is that appropriate or that wouldn't be right?
I probably wouldn't that could be a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. So I would probably brainstorm the best like high level way to organize it. Think about that. But I probably wouldn't make a project for each one of them.
Yeah.
That would be a lot.
That would be more efficient. I could see myself copying and pasting when everybody has to do something. That could be really tedious.
Yeah,
right?
it could be bad. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So, yeah, Sonia.
Oh, I am unmuted. Sorry. I'm looking for the mute button. I've not done anything like this. Didn't realize that was not on vibrate. I haven't done anything like this as far as like project management in this type of a system before. For someone that's like just totally getting started in this, basically from scratch, like what would I create as a project? I mean, could it be like
what we're going to talk about today, which I'm going to actually I'm going to cut off questions here in just a second because I want to show you. So right where we're at right now, this is the LinkedIn tasks board. So I have this in calendar view. And this would be a great place to start for you. So systematizing the things that you do on LinkedIn. These are the things that I have set up for Anne to do daily, couple of times a week, monthly, weekly, all of the things. And because let me just tell you, a lot of the things that I tell you to do on LinkedIn, it's a lot, right? Like, oh, remember to do this. Oh, remember to, like, it's easy for me to say, right? So I know that having this stuff in a planner type of a mode like this, it's good. I like to see it. I know, Anne, can you speak at all to how this board works for you, like, and how you like it?
Absolutely. It works very well and I love it. I really honestly was a little hesitant at first and a little bit leery going, well, okay, somebody's going to.
Because it was a lot, because she saw me assigning her like 100 tasks and she was like,
but honestly, yeah, when you actually sit down and think about the number of things that you have to do in a given day or given week, having this as a reminder is really, really good. I like it because although Jackie has gone ahead and set it up for me, basically, I can still have the freedom to adjust it if I need to, and I do. I have the ability to put in my own notes to remind myself about specific things that are important to me in terms of what it is that I'm doing, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm a huge fan of this now. I'm a total convert.
Yay. It can seem like a lot when you're getting started. Hence why I told you, Linda, to start with one task and get started, or like with one project and get started with it. Because it's a lot to get used to. And like literally, like, look at all these things that we have on here. Like, that's a lot of stuff to do, right? And it's a lot of stuff to get used to. So having to go in there and check off these tasks every day, it's going to be a lot for you to get used to. Once you get used to doing this and you maybe have your Asana open in a tab, or you have the app open and you can just boom, 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 cross things off of your list, it's going to get easier, which is why I said don't create 10 projects, because that's going to be way too much for you to work on, way too much for you to get started with. Okay. So I have this Asana task list set up in calendar view. I like calendar view because I like to see everything from a month span. Now, some of these things are repeatable, like prime algorithm is something that Anne does Monday through Friday. Now, when she completes this task, it's going to show up again on Tuesday. So it's set up as a recurring task. So things like that. And like track metrics, I have on this certain board, this is not exactly the same as yours, Anne. I have this set up every Friday to recur. So after she completes this on Friday, it's going to show up again the next Friday.
Now, the
Same
important thing
thing.
to note, if I can just jump in, is that if you do not do the task, it
does
will
not
not
repeat.
repopulate for the next time around. So you have to remember that, which I've learned, and go back.
That's a great point. If
make
you
a note
don't
to yourself,
complete the
yeah, I didn't
task,
do
it
this
won't show
day.
up again for you.
That's
So
right. And then you still have to say it's complete in order for it to show up the next time around. So you
I've
don't
been there.
forget.
Yeah, I've been there. I've had recurring tasks and I have to go back and mark them complete for like 4 weeks in a row that I forgot to check them off. Totally. I've been there.
Yep.
So just know that you do need to mark these off as you go. But this is going to remind you to do certain things. So let's come over here to this. And I first want to just basically run through how you would get started and how you would use this board. So first things first, create a free account. When you create a free account, they're going to ask you to create a paid account. Say no. Don't give them your credit card number. If they want to give you a free trial, fine, whatever. Just don't, at the end of the day, don't give them your credit card number, right? Because you don't need to, okay? Use the free account. When you get started, you're going to want to click, it's going to ask you to create a new project. And if we go out here, you can see you just click create a new project. That's it. And then, and I put screenshots here I went a little overboard on here to make sure that you guys can really understand the steps of this. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're either going to want to create a blank project if you want to do this yourself from scratch, which you may want to, maybe you don't want this, or you're going to import a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is what I have linked on this document for you to use. So the way you're going to do this is you're going to come down here. You're going to click to download the spreadsheet. And then when you get to this, you're going to click import spreadsheet and bring it in. So just remember where you downloaded it. Okay. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Sonia, you look confused.
I am. Can you do it one more time?
Sure. Yeah.
You went to the document, which I have open.
So you don't need to open this document. When you download here, just keep it, where is it? All the way down here. What you download here, just keep it as a file on your computer. Don't open it. You don't need to open it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Just download it and remember where you downloaded it to.
Okay. And
That's
then
it.
go over to the other one and upload it to.
And then when you see this import spreadsheet, bring it in here.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring it in here so you guys can see how to do this. Let's see, where's my spreadsheet?
Jackie, I had a question.
Yes.
Right now I'm using Google Sheets to keep all the things in line. I'm thinking, can I import all my Google Sheet data into Asana?
You can if you download them as CSVs. Or there is a connector. I can show you. If you start a blank project, as you go through this, there's going to be a direct connection to Google Sheets. I'll have to show you that another time, but the easiest way to do it is to download your Google Sheet as a CSV and use the import spreadsheet.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, you're relying on integrations. So we're going to go and call the project. I hope you call it LinkedIn something or another. That would make the most sense to me. So we're going to call this LinkedIn Task 2 because I already have one. If you have a team, don't worry about it. Keep that as the same team, and you're going to have to keep it public. You can keep it private to you, but just know that as you add more people with the free version, it's not. So you can click that, but it's not. Then here's what I was talking about. You can either connect directly to Google Sheets, or we could drop this CSV on here to import. That's it. Now, when you're here, this is where most people get stuck because they're like, well, what do I do now? Click this button that says go to project. That's it. So click the button that says go to project, and then it's going to take a while. So we're going to let this, you see, it's going to all, okay, it's in. So if you want it to look exactly the same as the one that I made, what you're going to need to do is go click on calendar. And then you are going to need to click on this drop down. And then you are going to need to click save layout as default. I have all of these tasks in there. So that way, every time you use it, you see it in the calendar view. Now, what do you notice? My colors didn't come in, did they? Right? So the colors are an extra thing. I like the way the colors look better. This is how it looks by default. So this is totally up to you if you want to do this or not. I'll show you how to do this here. So if we click on this task, if you click Tab T, I have created a tag called LinkedIn. You guys would need to create it. So we'll call this one LinkedIn 2. And then you'll click create tag for LinkedIn 2, and then you'll pick a color. And then when we come back out here, it's going to be that color. It's a tedious thing. You would need to go into all of these tasks and make them blue to get started, or whatever color you want to get started. I like it. Once you get in here and then you go like Tab T, this, it's not that bad. I think it's worth doing it to make it look better. But what you're using there is a tag. So tags give things different colors. Should I show them the editorial calendar? And so that they can see, I think that might help you. Let's see if it's this
Yes,
one.
I want to see it.
Okay. Okay, so our editorial calendar, this is what it looks like. So this shows you how using different colors would help you keep something organized. So this is what our creative director and all of us really have worked together to create. So I have the podcast, different colors. We have Instagram, different colors. Email marketing is different color. I like how it looks.
Is different. LinkedIn is different.
LinkedIn is blue. Yep. Promotional things, like we have different tags added in there to make it look nicer. We also, as you guys can see, we also use emojis to make it look prettier. What do you guys think?
I have a
I love
question. So this is all in one project though?
Yep.
So how does the podcast fit with the Instagram post, fit with how?
So
It's a marketing calendar, basically.
We have decided that everything, and this is the beauty of how you get to decide how your projects look. You could make one for your podcast specifically. This is our editorial calendar, which is posts that we're going to publish, content that's going out to the world, basically. So anything within here is just a different color based on the platform that it's going to be posted on. Does that help? I didn't see who asked the question.
It was me, sorry, and I don't have my camera on. I'm Suzanne. I have a question though. If you're so in the beginning where you don't really have, I mean, you know where I'm at in my business. So
yeah,
this seems like I'm not in that space yet.
You're not in this space yet. You're definitely in this space.
Okay.
You don't, this is what I'm saying about starting small. I wanted to show you this so you can see how this is something that came to be years into burnout to all out, right? Your LinkedIn tasks, these are tasks that you need to be doing every single day, every single week, every single month. These are the things that you need to be doing since we have strategically put this process into place. How have things grown, Anne?
It's crazy. It's crazy how the account has grown.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, this works. If you follow these processes,
launch.
yeah, if you guys follow the processes the way that I have put here and you do them consistently, which is a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie, it's work. If you do this, you're gonna grow your account.
You can't help but do it.
Yeah, these things, and the thing of it is that we're telling you to do all of these things in the academy all the time, right? You're probably just not. And that's okay. Now you have a plan, right? Now you have something that you can go to and
To hold yourself accountable.
yeah,
to do
hold
it.
yourself accountable to doing all this stuff. I mean, the reason I wanted to do this training for you guys, I'm going back to my original one because I like my blue. It just looks better to me. The reason that I wanted to do this training for you guys is because I see you. I see all the things that you're doing. I know you're not doing all the things that I'm telling you to do. And I just know it. Like some of you are doing it. Some of you are doing, you got to do all these things, right? You got to start implementing all of these things. And when you have something like this to go back to, it makes it so much easier. Like you can just click through this and get it done, right? So that's the reason I made this for you. And I think you guys should all start here. Now, if you need to edit any, if you're like, I'm not doing this time, like delete some of these tasks. I actually, down in the bottom here, and let's see right here, I actually I have created Loom videos for how to do each of these things so that you guys can all watch them individually, how to add your own tasks, add your own due dates, all of the things. I made an individual Loom video for each one on how to do each one of these things so that you, if you're like, I don't want to do this, or like, I'm not going to do this in my LinkedIn, you can go in and change it. Okay. But I'm just telling you, yeah, this is the structure that we use, and we have gotten tremendous results right away. So that's why I wanted to share it with you. Does that make sense, Suzanne?
Yeah, thank you. And just really quickly, so I see how it would be helpful, like when you have a team.
Mhm.
I don't see though, like if I'm creating content, how would the team do the stuff that's on there? Like
That's a
would
whole
they-
nother, that's a
that's a
whole nother
other-
training. So like
So this
doing
is like the-
content is a whole nother training. This is just your general LinkedIn tasks. And this is really where I want you guys to start and get used to. Like doing a lot of this assumes that you have the content ready to post. You can hold your content in a Google Doc. You could hold your content in a different Asana board at some point, which is what I'll show you guys how to do. But for now, I just want you to get used to doing these tasks over and over again.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, Jamie.
Yes, thanks, Jackie. Are you all questioned about the work that you're doing? Are you doing this on Melissa's LinkedIn profile, or you're doing it, and then so you're doing this on Melissa's profile?
Melissa's profile and the business page profile.
That was okay. So can you articulate what you are doing on the business profile and what you're doing on Melissa's profile? Even if you could go back to that picture, that will kind of help me to kind of figure out.
I will say that I've put everything in case you are like totally opposed to using Asana. I have put the daily, weekly, 2 times a week, 2 times a month, and monthly tasks here. Just say that I wanted to do that because I know that some of you are going to be like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing Asana. I know you. So I just wanted to put the things here in case you decide to totally bail on this. So these are the things that we do daily on the regular page. So prime the algorithm. This is different for us than engaging in the comments. And you kind of want to tell what the difference is between, because I think it's important that you guys, we do this, like, don't think that you can look at this and like, this is very strategic and drilled down. So we have people, I'll start in. So like in the engage in the comments daily, we have it listed out who we engage with on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So there are different people that we're engaging with on different days so that people like, it's very strategic. And priming the algorithm for me, I don't know if this is the way you do it, Anne, but it's more interacting in the feed.
Actually, priming the algorithm, what I do daily is I actually go to influencers pages and I will go and comment on their posts.
Okay.
And I try to do 10 of them a day if I can. I don't always hit that 10, but I do a very minimum of 5. And then for the strategic network growth, that is where I will go to the influencers pages, look at their posts,
right.
and then that's when I will actually start looking for people that are commenting or who have engaged on the
That's
post.
right. That's where we do that. Okay.
Yeah, and then I do that, and that's set up by X number of influencers or whoever they are by day of the week. So I've actually added to that. So now I have a choice of 3 different people that I tend to stick to for each day of the week.
But what I want them to really realize is you can start super small. Pick
Yeah.
a person for each day of the week.
Yep.
And under that strategic net worth growth, you guys all know that we're not a big fan of using, like, I'm not a big fan. I know, Anne, you're not a big fan of using the search bar to find people to connect with. We don't do it. Like, you guys can, and I know Melissa teaches different methods to do it. It is not the most effective way to find people on LinkedIn.
Nope.
It's just not. So engaging in other people's content, which for all of you, I'm just going to level set expectations right now. It's going to be hard to find the right people to get started. For all of you, that's going to be your biggest hurdle. Once you have overcome that hurdle, things are going to start changing for you. But you're going to have to go hunt and look for people where the majority of the people could potentially be a client of yours, or could be a client of yours, Giselle, I'm thinking, in the future.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but just keep you top of mind now. So like, you're looking for in the future, you know, not necessarily just right now.
Jackie, you read my mind. That's why my hand was up.
Yep. It's very hard to find the right place. It's very hard to find the right place to network. And that's really, for most of you, if you're going to be networking, I want you to focus there. I want you to really do the work to try to find the right place, because when you find the right place to start working, like in the comments and finding the right people to engage with, that's when it happens. That's when really good things start to happen.
Can I just add something? Because guys, I've been in all of your shoes as well, trying to do this for myself. I mean, I'm now, LinkedIn manager for Melissa, much bigger time. But when I was doing it for myself, I struggled to find where to go to find somebody to follow, to do all of this stuff too. So what I found was helpful was, rather than looking for a person, like an influencer type of person, I mean, there are some obvious ones that are kind of cover a lot of bases that you can do. But what I would do is I would go to groups. Groups for me in LinkedIn are largely not very functional spaces, because there's really no activity in most of them. However, there's a list of members that you can access, and you can start scrolling through that list of members and look to see if anybody fits your avatar, and then go at it from that aspect too. Because
and that, I think that's such a good, the other thing is hashtags. Like going and interacting in certain hashtags that are really like lined up with what you're doing. That's another place that you can, so it doesn't necessarily have to, I think what you said is exactly right. And it doesn't have to be an influencers page. It could be a group. It could be a hashtag. You need to go find where they're hanging out. Like, that's your homework. That's the biggest homework, is go find where your people are hanging out. That was the best piece of advice I ever got when I first started my business, was go find where your people are hanging out. And I've heard all of you tell me in 5,000 different ways that you can't find them. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. So on to Jamie's question here. Anything that I have with the business page has business page on it. So rotate hashtags on the business page is something that we would be doing monthly. So I have this task set to like I think I have it on the last day of the month, which is what I would recommend for all of you, the last day of the month, to rotate your hashtags on your business page. The other thing that we have here is change pinned content on your business page. I have it on this to do monthly. Do we do that monthly, Anne?
I do it more than that.
Okay. I don't think you need to do it more than monthly when you're first starting. I think you can, it depends. So you have on your business page, you have an opportunity to have real estate right at the top of that page, right? So let's say Jamie's doing a launch next week. I would want Jamie to put content, like pin a post at the top asking people to register. So change it monthly, but also change it according to the events that you're doing.
Okay.
Is that like things that you have coming up? So if you have a launch, if you have a summit, if you have whatever, Now, the majority of the time, what I want you to have at the top of your page is an introduction to yourself, like a post welcoming people to the page, you know, telling them a little bit about what you do. And you have more opportunity in this one than you do in your 30-second cover photo. Like you can tell them everything that you do and tell them how to get in touch with you. And, you know, you can leave comments about like with links and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunity. So get creative, but base it on your calendar for your business, very much so. And then for us, for this purpose, I have repost content to business page. You know, when you're first getting started, I'm not a really big fan of creating brand new content for your business page. I think it's too much work when you're first getting started. I think you just taking 2 days worth of content. So like we have this on Tuesday and Thursday and posting it to the business page. What we're trying to do is not make it look empty. Right? So as you're getting people to get on that page, we're trying to stack that page up with posts. So we want these posts to be, I mean, I would pick like your most engaged with posts. So if like you did a post that week that got a lot of likes and comments, do that one, like copy and paste that one over to your page. Let's see, Giselle, I'm gonna call on you in just a second. Now, sharing your business page is entirely different. So when you go to your business page, there's a link that you can click that says share business page. And we want you to literally share it to your personal profile just to let people know that you have one. If you do this weekly, you could do it every other week, whatever you want to do it. Not everybody's going to see it every single time that you do it. So it's a good thing to socialize it. And what you're trying to do is just get followers to that page. So we have this set up for 1 time a week. I have this on here doing a weekly LinkedIn Live. I think y'all should do a weekly LinkedIn Live if you can. I think it can be 5 minutes. I don't think it needs to be anything crazy. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to be people seeing you talk. So if it were me, I would have you doing live every week. On Friday, I have you tracking metrics. This is something that may be different for you. Respond to requests to connect. You guys probably have the capability of doing that every single day. And maybe you do. How many of you guys do that every day? Okay. So Kristen, yeah, you do. We only do it once a week. I'm sure you can understand why we only do that once a week. With Melissa, she gets like 6 zillion of them. So we only do it 1 time a week. And Anne's probably very thankful for that we don't do it every day of the week because it's a lot of work, you know, and Melissa still will go into some of them and voice message them. So we do that Friday. You could easily go in and change this to a daily task. I think you should be doing a newsletter twice a month if you can. I think it's good practice to get into. If it's not, if you want to do a newsletter once a month, totally fine. I'm just telling you the optimal scenario here, what I would want you to be doing. And I would want you to do a LinkedIn newsletter twice a month.
Should we point out that they can do a newsletter in both places?
You can if you're approved. Yeah. So we weren't approved right off the bat on the business page to do a LinkedIn newsletter. If you are, I almost think you should do it on your business page as opposed to your personal page. But now we're kind of in the scenario where we're like, we may have to actually create 2 newsletters, like, so that we're not reposting the same content. So yeah, that is something to look at. I also have on here every Friday for you to go in and create an event for the next week's live. Because remember, this is going to pop up after you complete it and it's going to show up here. So you're going to create an event for the live. And again, I know what I'm telling you is a lot of work, but this is optimal. I want you creating events for your lives. Why? Because events do really well in the algorithm. And so when you just go live randomly and pop in on the platform, it doesn't have as much impact as if you pair an event with it. Same thing for your audio event, which I have on here once a month to do that. And then I have once a month publishing a LinkedIn article. That is the things that I have you doing. These will all repeat on whatever cadence I have them on, but these are the things that if you do them, these will start moving the needle in your business, but you have to start doing them consistently. Giselle, yes.
as you were going through this. So actually, you just finished talking about create an event for the live. How is that different from going live?
So, so when you go to LinkedIn, you can actually create an event. And I think we have this in one of our trainings. So if you come down here and you create an event, it's like, have you ever seen a Facebook event where people create a Facebook event and invite you to it? It's the same thing. So if you create an event ahead of time, the idea is if you let people know like, hey, next week I'm going live on Thursday or whatever day of the week it is that you have it, you can invite people to it. You can publicize it, let people know that. And how do you do this for the podcast? Do you want to tell them that?
For the podcast recordings, I just call it Melissa Hinault Live. I give it a short name, you know, in terms of, well, actually, to be honest with you, for those ones, I don't actually do it directly on LinkedIn. So I should be honest about that.
Well,
because I do it through Restream. So.
Okay, well, that's if you use Restream, yes, that's a whole nother issue. But if you're doing it through LinkedIn, you can go, actually, when you create the event, you can either link it to a live or an audio event. And so that's how you differentiate between the ones. But in a perfect world, what I'm telling you is that I would like you to create events for the different lives and audios and things that you have like that, because events do well in the algorithm. It also sends a notification when your event is happening to your network. So it's like free publicity. So like, why wouldn't you? And it takes 2 seconds to fill it out. You don't even have to put, you don't have to put a custom banner in there, but if you create one custom banner, you can likely use it. Make it strategically so you don't have to do another one for every single time. So, you know.
Cool. Right. So then you talked about rotating hashtags, and I've heard you talk about that before, and I have no idea. Like, I use the same hashtags.
So this is just for your company page. On your company page, yes. Yep. So you may not need that, but this is only for your business page. So you actually have the hashtags attached to your business page. And so you want to get the ideal reach, you want to make sure that you're switching those up.
Got it. Okay. That's all. Thanks.
You just think about that. If you use the same ones over and over again, it gets stagnant. Like it says, you just become muted. So you want to make sure that you use different ones.
Yeah. So even on my personal page, I should explore doing other ones and see what happens.
Yep. I saw someone else with a question. Did somebody else have a question?
I did, but you answered it.
Okay. Okay, good. What about you, Pam?
Oh, sorry. I have just a question. You just said on the create events for live interviews and use a banner. So I have my pop interview graphic thing. I'm gonna put that.
You would just need to resize it to the banner size that you use here. So 16:9 ratio. This, if you go to, I think the Facebook event cover is a 16:9 ratio in Canva.
Say it again.
The Facebook event cover.
Oh,
yeah. You just want to look for one in Canva that has a 16:9 ratio, which it says. If you look in Canva next to like the names of the different banner templates, is that it has the aspect ratio next to it.
So that's the one I want to use, and I would use that then for each time I'm doing one of those interviews.
So you just want to resize it to that size.
And so I have a generic one. It doesn't say with who it is, and so when I'm creating that event, I can say who it's with, Joe Blow, whoever, right? Okay. All right, got it.
Yep.
That's very good.
But I think a generic, you guys know how I feel about consistency and imaging. And like, I think using the same banner over and over again just does a heck of a lot better. And it's better for you because you don't have to recreate one every single time.
It's recognition and reminder of, a familiarity. I see that. Oh, that's on again. Oh, she's doing that again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So I have tech office hours in an hour. And you guys can ask me any type of questions on there. What I would want you to do in a perfect world, what I want you guys to do is get started using this. Like, start using this template, and I will space in another Asana training, but I want you guys to commit to taking action and start doing this, because to be honest, if you're not planning the actions that you're going to take, maybe you're using the productivity checklist. That's good. It's a good start, but you have to do these things consistently. I cannot be more like that is the most important thing. If you are doing these things randomly, it's not the same. You're not going to have the same results. You're not going to have the same impact. So for us to really judge what you're doing and for me to help you have the most impact, I need you guys to be doing these tasks consistently. And then we can go back in and micro refine the things that you're doing so that we can get you an even better result.
Where do I get these documents?
Let's see.
I'll drop it in again.
And here's the,
I got it.
did you put the copy one in?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And if, you guys have any questions about this, definitely, I can definitely email me, let me know, come to my office hours, send in strategic advisory questions for me. Like, I never get those. Like, come on. I am always here to answer your questions. And if you guys do this, Monday would be perfect timing for me to ask you or to answer your question. So you guys have plenty of time between now and next Monday for me to to test us out, see how it's working, and see what you have questions on. Pam, yes.
Just one thing, Jen said, so we should do the live events through our business page instead of our personal page. Do you have an opinion about that? And I don't have both.
Okay.
I have only personal.
So the live events, here's what we're doing. I like to do, like, for the lead gen masterclass, which you guys know is Melissa's big webinar that we want to send out to the public. We are now going to be creating those events on the business page because we want to send them out to the LinkedIn world at large to get more people in. Now, for things like your lives, your personal things that you're doing on your page, I think it's fine to create a personal event for those ones. It depends. If your business page is your primary vehicle, the more that you create events on your business page, you're reaching a wider audience, a different audience. When you create events on your personal page, they're for your connections. They're for the people that you're already connected with. So think about that. I think the best place to start is with the personal ones. And then as you're creating the bigger, more powerful events, because let's be honest, if you're just going live and talking about some random thing, like how you want to hit the world at large is probably a lot different than how you want to connect with your connections in your certain page. Like, I would reserve those events for things that really tell the story of what you're doing, how they can work with you, things with calls to action, things that have the bigger impact. Does that make sense?
Yes. So I don't have a business page yet, but I'm doing these interviews. So I should just go on my personal page while I have it because I'm building it. It'll take longer to get a business page with all those connections, right? And so then I will feel stalled in my lane. So at least I should do something on my personal page. I'm going to stack all those in YouTube, and then I'll eventually put those maybe into a podcast.
Yep.
Right down the road that I can reach more people. So
yep.
I shouldn't deviate, right?
Nope. I really just want to say that I want
Keep
you guys
moving.
keep moving, take action.
Okay,
so, Sue says what slows her down on implementing the things that I suggest is the technology. I get that, which is why I created a checklist on here for you too. Like, at the end of the day, if you don't want to do the Asana thing, use the checklist that I have. You can go in every single day. I personally, right now, with where I am at in my business, I use a Google Doc with a checklist and I check it off every single day. That works best for me. I'm not telling you that you have to use Asana or anything like that. I want you to use something that you'll feel comfortable with. So if that's just a blank document with a checklist every day and you write the tasks down and you check them off every day, what's the difference? Do it that way. Like, if you don't find the software that we're using intuitive, I would say don't use it. Use the checklist or start small using it and get used to it. Like, don't work I want you guys to be doing the things. I am just going to say, I don't care if you use Asana. It doesn't have to be Asana, right? I want you to do these things. So, Suzanne, yes, do you have a question?
Yeah. So Is there a feature in Asana where you schedule out your content as well, or is that something else?
Nope, that would be a content scheduler. And honestly, if you're going to schedule content, I would prefer that you use now the one that's on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has its own scheduler. So if you go in to create a post in LinkedIn, it's very much like Facebook now. There's a little clock and you can actually just schedule your stuff right inside of there.
Okay. And is
I
there
love
like,
it.
it works well, I
Yeah,
assume.
Totally.
Not everybody has it, but if you don't have it, wait for it. And if you don't have it, look on your phone and look on your computer. Some people have it on it, they haven't completely rolled it out yet. But it's a time series and it's great for the algorithm because it's native. It's right inside of LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then Jacqueline said, where does this training get posted? I am going to post this in both the network marketer and the online in your modules, and I'm going to post it under the automation section. Okay. So I will send you guys a direct link to it via email when I post it. You'll get an announcement that says this has been posted, and then you can click right through to the link. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I will see you guys in about 40 minutes if you come back.
Thanks,
Bye,
Jackie.
guys. Have a great day.